I hope you friends are ready for chapter 3 in Catwings. This is a very exciting chapter that will make you avid readers go, and it's got a lot going on in it. Are you so excited? You should be. So who remembers what was going on in the story so far? Put on that thinking cap. What had happened so far? Do you remember who the main characters are? We have Thelma, Harriet, Roger, and James. And there is their mom, Mrs. Jane Tabby. And remember, Mrs. Jane Tabby told her kittens to fly away somewhere safe. Right? She wanted them to be somewhere where there were no dangerous hands or feet or dogs or rats. So in the last chapter, we followed them as they left the city. So there they are getting some water, remember, up on the top of one of the roofs. And then they kept on flying until they saw nothing but darkness in front of them. And they landed in the woods, right, in the forest. And then James caught a fish. Remember, he said it was for dinner. And then all 4 of the kitties found a nice spot to lay down and sleep. But remember, one of them was always awake because they were on guard, listening for any danger. And remember, I said make a prediction. Do you think something dangerous might happen? Chapter 3. "It's absolutely dreadful," the thrush cried. "Unjust," the finch agreed. "Intolerable," yelled the blue jay. "I don't see why," a mouse said. "You've always had wings. Now they do. What's unfair about that?" The fish in the creek said nothing. Fish never do. Few people know what fish think about injustice or anything else. So injustice means like something's not fair. "I was bringing a twig to the nest just this morning, and a cat flew down. A cat flew down from the top of the home oak and grinned at me in midair," the thrush said, and all of the other songbirds cried, "Shocking, unheard of, not allowed." Why do you think the birds would not want flying cats around? What do cats try to do to birds? They try to catch them. "You could try tunnels," said the mouse, and trotted off. Who tries tunnels to get away from the birds? The mouse. The birds had to learn to get along with the flying tabbies. Most of the time, in fact, they were more frightened and outraged than really endangered, since they were far better flyers than Roger, Thelma, Harriet, and James. The birds never got their wings tangled up in pine branches and never absent-mindedly bumped into trees. And when pursued, they could escape by speeding up or taking evasive action. That means moving really quickly to the side or to the other side or up or down, getting right out of the way really fast. Oh, but they were alarmed and with good cause. So they were worried about something for a good reason, about their fledglings. Ooh, what is a fledgling? It's a little baby bird, right? They were worried about their fledglings. Many birds had eggs in the nest now. When the babies hatched, how could they be kept safe from a cat who could fly up and perch on the slenderest branch among the thickest leaves? It took a while for the owl to understand this. Owl is not a quick thinker. She is a long thinker. It was late in spring, one evening, when she was gazing fondly at her 2 new owlets, that she saw James flitting by chasing bats. And she slowly thought, "This will not do." Oh, so what is the writer saying here? It took a while for Owl to understand. And softly Owl spread her great gray wings and silently flew after James, her talons opening. So what is the author saying here? Talons are opening. What are talons? They're the claws. So the bird is going after James. The owl is going after James, right? Because she does not want her little owlet babies to be in danger. Are you guys worried about James? I'm so worried about James. I hope he's okay. The flying tabbies had made their nest in a hole halfway up a big elm, above fox and coyote level and too small for raccoons to get into. Thelma and Harriet were washing each other's necks and talking over the day's adventures when they heard a pitiful crying at the foot of the tree. Who do you think it could be, friends? Who do you think might be crying at the foot of the tree? James! Cried Harriet. He was crouching under the bushes, all scratched and bleeding. And one of his wings dragged on the ground. Oh no! It was the owl, he said, when his sisters had helped him climb painfully up to the tree trunk to their home hole. I just escaped. She caught me, but I scratched her and she let go for just a moment. And just then, Roger came scrambling into the nest with his eyes round and black and full of fear. She's after me, he cried. The owl! So who is she chasing now? She's chasing Roger, isn't she? I'm starting to get worried. What about you, friends? What do you think might happen? Do you think they're going to be okay? I hope they'll be okay. They all washed James's wounds till he fell asleep. Now we know how the little birds feel, said Thelma grimly. She's saying that because now she knows how she made those birds feel by chasing them. What will James do? Harriet whispered. Will he ever fly again? He'd better not, said a soft, large voice just outside their door. The owl was sitting there, watching them. Use your super-duper avid reader skills. How do you think the 4 tabby cats might be feeling right now? I'm thinking they might be a little bit scared, a little bit worried, a little bit concerned, a little bit frightened, a little bit upset, and poor James is definitely in pain right now if he's all scratched up. Okay, let's see what happens next. Are you right on the edge of your seat? I told you this was a very exciting chapter. The tabbies looked at one another. They did not say a word till morning came. At sunrise, Thelma peered cautiously. Can you peer cautiously? That means like so carefully and slowly, just so if there is anybody, they don't see you and you can pop right back in. But she cautiously peered out. The owl was gone. Until this evening, said Thelma. From then on, they had to hunt in the daytime and hide in their nest all night. For the owl thinks slowly, but the owl thinks long. James was ill for days, and he could not hunt at all. When he recovered, he was very thin and could not fly much, for his left wing soon grew stiff and lame. He never complained, though. He sat for hours by the creek, his wings folded, fishing. The fish did not complain either. They never do. So what happened to his wing, James? It's kind of ruined, isn't it? He can't really fly anymore. That makes me very sad for James, but I love that he is staying so positive. One night of early summer, the tabbies were all curled in their home hole, rather tired and discouraged. A raccoon family was quarreling. That means they were arguing loudly in the next tree. Thelma had found nothing to eat all day but a shrew, which gave her indigestion. A coyote had chased Roger away from the wood rat he had been about to catch that afternoon. James's fishing had been unsuccessful, and the owl kept flying past on silent wings, saying nothing. 2 young male raccoons in the next tree started a fight. shouting insults, and then all the other raccoons joined in, screeching and scratching. It sounds just like the old alley, James remarked. Do you remember the shoes? Harriet asked. She was looking quite plump, perhaps because she was so small. Her sister and brothers had become thin and rather scruffy. Yes, said James. Some of them chased me once. Do you remember the hands? Roger asked. Yes, Thelma said. Some of them picked me up once, when I was just a kitten. What did they do, the hands? Harriet asked. Well, they squeezed me, and it hurt. And the hands person was shouting, "Wings, wings, it has wings." That's what it kept shouting in its silly voice, and it kept squeezing me. Well, what did you do? Well, I bit it, Thelma said with modest pride. I bit it, and it dropped me, and I ran back to Mother under the dumpster. I didn't know how to fly yet. I saw one today, said Harriet. What? A hands? A shoes? Said Thelma. A human being? Said James. A human being? Roger said. Yes, said Harriet, and it saw me too. Did it chase you? Did it kick you? Did it throw things at you? No. It just stood, and it watched me flying, and its eyes got round just like ours. Mother always said, Thelma remarked thoughtfully, so she sang this oh so thoughtfully, if you ever found the right kind of hands, you'd never have to hunt again. But if you found the wrong kind, it would be worse than dogs, she said. So what is she saying? That they need to find a kind human with some sweet hands who will do nothing but treat them with love and pets and sweet cuddles all day long. I think this one is the right kind, said Harriet, the right kind of hands, the right kind of human being. What makes you think so? Roger asked, sounding like their mother. Because it ran off and came back with a plate full of dinner, Harriet said. And it put the dinner down on that big stump at the edge of the field where we scared the cows that day, you know. And then it went off quite a way and sat down and just watched me. So I flew over and I ate the dinner. It was an interesting dinner, like what we used to get in the alley, but fresher. And, said Harriet, sounding more like their mother, I'm going back there tomorrow to see what's on that stump. You should be careful, Harriet Tabby, said Thelma, sounding even more like their mother. Okay, so how did this chapter just end? The food was left on the stump, and Harriet went and got it, and she's saying she's going to go back tomorrow because there's food there, and she thinks she might have found a nice pair of hands and a nice pair of feet on a nice human being who will love her and all of her family. Well, wouldn't that be nice? I wonder if you, friends, will make a prediction about what's going to happen next. We have our very last chapter that we will be finishing. I'm so excited to finish this book with you. Let me know what you have thought, if you liked it. There are more books in the series. I hope you friends enjoyed.